Do I need to say anything about, like, welcome?
Timeouts were tough. They were rewarded.
Back here on Redskin Radio.
Back on Redskin Radio, this is Wiley Brakebill, joined with RT McBride, and now Coach Josh Graves joins us. Coach, that was a rough one tonight.
Yeah, good team, solid ball club, Polk County, a lot of senior experience and leadership, and they got some younger guys, some sophomore, juniors that contribute a lot too. So tough night. Ball didn't bounce our way. We had some things we could have done a lot better. Free throw line, finishing at the rim, and things of that nature defensively. So ultimately, even though the ball don't bounce your way, there's a lot of things that we can work on and do better for next time.
This game seemed to have been plagued from the start. We started off with a technical. What happened there?
So Whitfield was listed as number 32, and his new jersey come in at lunch today, which is number 33, and which I was happy for him because makes his life a lot easier. And so I gave him that, and knucklehead here didn't go back and change it in the book. And so, I apologized to the boys there and asked him to pick me up. That's completely on me and my fault, and I gave Polk County a 1-point advantage before we ever started the game. Just one of those fluke crazy things. Just middle of the day, Jersey showed up, put it in there for him, and I didn't change the book. So that's my fault ultimately.
And then they turned around and returned the favor shortly after.
Yeah. I don't know if Coach Tucker just didn't put him in the book or what happened, but 11, they said 11 wasn't even on there. And so I said, well, that makes me feel a little better, but not great.
Coach, what will you take these lessons moving forward? When you break down the film, is there any specific area you'll hit on going deeper into district play?
Yeah, I thought our zone offense was a little passive at times. I thought we should have been more aggressive, especially with the way they play. They play real spaced out and leave a lot of gaps for the drive. I didn't think we drove it enough. I would imagine we would, with some of our size and athleticism, we would see zone a lot. Honestly, I want us to look at taking a charge. We tried to take one charge tonight, and I told the boys in the locker room we should be trying to take at least 7 or 8 a night. Whether we get them or not, we should be trying to take 7 or 8 or 9. And we had 10-plus opportunities tonight, and Whitfield was the only one that tried. He was a little late, but with the other charges that got called, I thought he should have got it. But it is what it is. That's some things I'm going to look at. It's like I told the boys, the fixes that we have are easy fixes. Making your free throws, going to finish, not going to get fouled, and defensively keeping the ball out of the middle of the floor, making sure we finish the play and box out, stuff like that. That's easy fixes that, we got to polish, as we get deeper into the season.
Now, Coach, another thing that was big about this game was some of the calls. There were some times where nobody had possession and gave timeout. There was as you mentioned just a second ago, Whitfield slides over to take the charge, which kudos on him. He's the only player in the past couple of weeks that keeps on trying to take a charge.
Yeah.
But then the exact same play, Gunnar Millsaps comes down. It was even less contact, and they call the charge on Millsaps. How do you control your guys to say you got to keep playing because ultimately the refs don't. Yes, they can make it more difficult, but they don't decide the game. How do you keep your team under control in those situations?
I think the big thing in the huddle, because it got pretty rowdy tonight, and I could tell they were kindly, letting that affect them. And so in the huddle, I really put emphasis on focus. You got to look at me, don't get wrapped up in this. And our fans had a right to be upset. There was some very questionable stuff that went on the floor tonight, but ultimately, we can't change that. I could go argue with those 3 guys till I was blue in the face. They're not going to change it. Stuff that's out of our control, we can't let affect us. We have to, what we control, we have to let that affect us. And, obviously there was things tonight that we could have done better, but I really tried to focus them in those last few timeouts. And, for the most part, I felt like the guys locked in. I mean, we never gave up, come back from down 9, I think, lost by 3 maybe. So, shoot, that's one thing about this group, man. They're not going to quit. They're going to fight. It don't matter what 5 I got out there. They're going to fight.
And it doesn't matter what 5 you got out there. That's true, because tonight you had 8 players score. You had 8 players contribute, and you're missing Drew Jackson.
Yeah.
You had Tyler Whitfield was kind of banged up. What's that mean for you, that you have that kind of depth and those kind of players that can all step in and serve their role?
Man, it's huge. We got a lot of guys that can play basketball, and it's a good problem to have. It's a problem for us as a coaching staff to, these guys bust their butts, and we played, quite a few guys tonight because they've earned the opportunity in practice. And in the second half, we had to kind of shrink that down and go with who we felt would give us the best chance. But a guy like Drew Jackson makes a big difference defensively for us if he's here. We miss him to death, but man, he's got a great opportunity where he's playing tonight, doing well from what I've been told. But we had some guys step up tonight and fill a role that they're not normally used to, and so that promotes growth in our kids, and it's only going to benefit them down the road. And it's anytime. I hate to lose. I'm a sore loser. I hate losing, and but at the end of the day, a loss like this where we fought hard and it just didn't happen is only going to fuel us, and I think it'll fuel these boys. And it's something that as a coach you can reiterate, you can go back to and say, hey, if we do this, and this better, we win that ball game. Let's not let it happen again.
Yeah, I think a game like this is going to be big for your mental toughness going forward.
How do you refuel them for that, Coach? Because now, first game, 0-1 in the district, and of course, as we've mentioned before, and as we know, district plays where really the heart of basketball is.
Sure.
So what do you do going forward now that you've had that first district game, first loss in the district? Polk County's now 2-0 in the district. How do you address that moving forward?
To me, I address it as every district game from here on out's a must-win. No other way to look at it. You lose your first one, you got to have a must-win mentality in the rest of your district games. At Greenback Tuesday is an opportunity for us to, fix some things, work on some things at game speed, in a non-district match, and so that hopefully we can work on those and get better. And then on Thursday night when we go to McMinn Central, do something that I don't know that we've done in a long time, and that's win at McMinn Central. And to me, that is a must-win. We've got to win that game in order to put us in a better position when it comes to district.
Last question for you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
We've got this as we go through the district play, and we go down to McMinn Central. That's going to be a big game, as you mentioned. But then we've got 3 games next week.
Yes,
we've got some players beat up. You've only had about a week and a half practice with your whole squad together.
Yeah.
And with such a big week, do you have a different strategy for something like that, or is it just business as usual?
I think it's business as usual, but I think practice will be a little lighter on Monday and Wednesday, just for the sake of these guys not re-injuring and keeping their legs. Fortunately for us, we have some guys who can play, and we have a little bit of depth that we can use, especially Tuesday and Friday night non-district games. It's like Coach Herm Edwards says, you play to win them all. So that's our goal. We want to go 3-0 Scotch Blemish next week, and it's like I told them tonight. I said we got to go one at a time. Practice Monday, one day at a time. Go to Greenback, take care of business Tuesday. That's fortunately for us, last year we seen one day at a time what kind of success you can have, and so I think that's what I got to preach. We're kind of throwing it all together in a hurry, so to speak, and but this group's a good bunch, and they'll do it. We got to nurse those injuries and try not to re-aggravate those, especially in a practice situation. Whitfield's banged up with his elbow, Noah's ankles. He's better. I still don't know that he's 100%, but he's better. And poor old Brody, man, he's all the time getting hurt, and Lucas too. So, we've got to minimize those in practice. We'll focus on fundamental stuff and finishing, shooting, things of that nature. The game comes to these guys, so we'll be fine in that respect.
3 big games next week. We wish you the best of luck, Coach.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
This is Wiley Brakebill with Redskins.